Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Mirage League 3.28. In this episode, I'm going to be going over the content reveal and then adding extra detail and reading things out loud for you, so you know what they revealed. Let's get into it.
The Jinn. They were bound to serve, but not to suffer.
So we free a Jinn, and then we have this area revealed of the Mirage. We go through, and then this area, basically, of the map gets duplicated, but it's not a perfect duplication. It's a Mirage, and so most of the content in the circle will be repeated, except for sometimes it'll be, like, different, or the loot will be different, or the monsters you get will be different, but the generic mechanics should be the same. But then it said, like, strong boxes could be different, and then a little bit more.
The Aphrodite assault our lands, trapping my Jinn in an astral plane. Break their chains, rescue them, and you will be granted a wish.
And then this is the second part. So you free a Jinn, and then you get to make your wish. And so this is where the wishes apply. And so now you see how they would skip over this really quick. Wish for souls, wish for momentum, wish for troves. And then players in Mirage area have Soul Eater. Players in Mirage area have Onslaught and Adrenaline. An additional unique strongbox will appear in the Mirage area. And I told you how it's a duplicated area. So I think of it like Scourge, but instead of it being in the same map, it's a separate map. And it's, I guess it's more like you taking a June encounter in a map, so you have a map inside of a map, or like when you did a Zana inside of a map, you would have a map inside of a map. It's like that. It's an extra map, but then it's not always the full map. It's like only a circle of the map. You can see Soul Eater, Rarity, 3 additional Atlas bosses. That was the Awakener. And this is the boss.
We must keep him in the dark.
Mirage. This adds an extra support to your gems instead of corrupting +1. Restored Mariketh uniques. Holy skills. Exceptional supports that are better than Awakened supports. The Fractured Atlas with blobs. The Memory Vaults. The new Ascendancy for Scion. And Bloodlines rework. So many things. March 6th, 11 a.m. And then we got more to go through. So then I'm going to be skipping through the video and going to parts that I feel like needed more, well, if you watch it originally, you miss it because they didn't read all of them. But wish for glyphs, portals, and wisdom scrolls found in the Mirage area will instead drop as other currencies. Wish for avarice. Some packs in the Mirage area will be replaced with monsters that convert dropped equipment to gold. And so this is similar to that Atlas Keystone, except it did a bunch of other things too, and this is just equipment. But then I think this will kill your unique drops. And then 100% more maps found in the Mirage area. So this reminds me of like upsides of T17s, but they're as wishes. And then we don't have T17s now. We have nightmare maps, which are more about boss uber fragments instead of it being the best farming method. We also have Wish for Souls, the Soul Eater. Additional bronze jewel cache will appear in the Mirage area. Wish for jewels. Wish for godhood. Players in Mirage area cannot die, and this is similar to the Divine Shrine, but then it's permanent for the Mirage area, where the Divine Shrine was a temporary buff that didn't last as long as the normal shrines. We also have Wish for gold. 80% more gold from slain enemies in the Mirage area. And so these seem pretty worth it to run. Well, obviously, we don't have all the details, so you can't really make, like, big decisions yet. You can just more be up to date on new stuff and kind of, like, already have some knowledge before we've even gotten into the game. But you can't, like, fully judge things for what they are yet. But then it also said here, Sigil of Kalari, monster spawned by astral anomalies in a Mirage area have a rare chance to drop a coin of skill. Which is the thing, I think, that upgrades the gems with a corruption of a support gem, but then you don't get the +1 corrupted support gem from Foul Orbs. There's also a Coin of Power. There's also the Coin of Knowledge. Actually, it might be Coin of Power was the one with the extra support gem. Yeah, we'll have to see what all this is. Oh, this is the one. So those are just the different colored ones of what support gem your gem will corrupt with. And so Knowledge was blue, Power red, and then
Coin of Power or
the other one
Coin
was
of
green.
Skill.
And then they also said they added a detail that the support gem that it rolls must be one that actually works on the skill, so you won't roll from all support gems available. It'll only roll from ones that actually work on that skill. We also have players in Mirage area gain 50% increase XP, knowledge, 4 knowledge, 100% more divination cards found. So that's pretty crazy because you couldn't get this as a T17 mod. Rare monsters in the Mirage area will have 2 additional modifiers. So this is similar to the Nemesis Scarab. They also showed this detail. I'll just show it.
Mirages created from an in-game map, for instance, will have all Scarab,
The Legion
Atlas,
was repeated,
and map modifiers
but
the
then
area
it can have different monsters from the Legion and different rewards. So they actually talked about this before, where they wanted to have multiple blight encounters in a map, and we never actually got it. And now I think this enables it because you can have the Mirage as a separate map. So it's still one blight per map,
of your map
but it can technically repeat it.
For one, a recreation may, more importantly, that
I thought they showed it.
Modifiers.
It was Ultimatum having different rewards too. They did show blight. I missed it. There it is. And it has a special
once more,
reward as well. They actually leaked it. What the hell is that? Wait, oh, it's a type of immunity. Wait, is there a new tower? A Mirage tower? What the hell? Because this is the minion tower immunity, which makes the monsters take less damage from the minion tower, but then this is a Mirage tower, so they actually added a Mirage tower that only appears when you do the encounter in a Mirage, so that's blight. Interesting. They also mentioned this new catalyst to improve the prefix or suffix of ring, amulet, or belt, and so 20% increased effect of the prefix or suffix. And then I was wondering how this will work with like a Calandra reflect. Will you not need as high of a modifier to then get it to be doubled to get to the, like, you don't need to be doubled to get like +2 and stuff, but then these are still of types, but then it's prefix and suffix, so as the type, instead of it being like fire and cold, which wouldn't work on certain modifiers, like you didn't really have a catalyst for certain things, so this sounds really cool. Oh, apparently the ultimatums also have new modifiers that can be harder, or like sand, quicksand, and some other one, yeah, some new modifiers that debuff you. A new cord belt from Blight, which might be that Aphorid lane, but then I'm not sure. Like there might be an Aphorid tower as well, like I was saying, but then yeah, it can be anointed, and so then I wonder, will there be a new unique for the cord belt, or is this just a new base that doesn't have a unique yet? And maybe if it had one unique, can you then chance it? Ooh. We also had this one, Wish for Pursuit. Enemies in the Mirage area have a 4% chance to release a golden volatile on death. What is that? Mirage area has patches of oasis ground. What's that? And then, so yeah, Pursuit and Oasis. They have new uniques. And then you take these and you get this Coin of Restoration, which restores an Aphorid unique item to its past Mariketh form. And so then it's a new, as you can see, then it went from the Poison Wither one into a Fire one. A new belt. Screams of the Desiccated. You have Diamond Shrine buff while affected by no flash. You have Resistance Shrine buff while affected by no flash. I staggered on, dying of thirst. I thought I found respite, but no, it was a pit of newborns, dry and hollow, and they screamed, still begging me for vengeance. They also added a new minion skill, a Holy Strike. And so I'll just let him explain this for a sec.
When successfully hitting an enemy with Holy Strike, you'll summon forth a floating holy armament, a glowing mace that follows you closely. These weapons are minions, and will attack with Holy Strike themselves whenever you do. These holy armaments will copy the stats of your main hand weapon to deal their damage. Stand against your foe's
There's also a new support that can work with minions.
melee attacks, causing them to inflict a new debuff.
Hallowed support.
Hallowing Flame.
Hallowing Flame.
Hallowing Flame builds up as charges on enemies, getting consumed when attacked. Consuming a stack of Hallowing Flame gives the attack that consumed it a significant amount of extra fire damage. But only those who did not inflict the Hallowing Flame are able to consume it. Perfect for those of you who enjoy a more supportive playstyle with your army of Holy Sentinels. Or friends, when they're online. We've also
these are things that already exist.
added sources of this debuff to a number of other places,
they added
such as unique items, cluster jewels.
That's on exerted attacks. Holy
and
word.
the Guardian.
The new Guardian node, Marshal of Divinity, inflict Hollowing Flame on melee hit. You can inflict +1 Hollowing Flame on enemies, gain 10% of physical damage as extra lightning for each of your Hollowing Flames that have been removed by an allied hit recently, up to 80%. Attacks made against enemies affected by Hollowing Flame gain 25% of Fizz as extra fire damage. Hollowing Flame is removed once an attack that benefits from this damage as extra is successfully made. Hollowing Flame lasts for 6 seconds and cannot benefit the one who inflicted it. This Orb of Storms of Squalls is really cool.
And arc lightning upon doing so. This gives you a mobile storm of destruction that follows you as you dive into battle.
With lightning
We'll leave
skills.
the rest of the transfigured skills for you to comb through in the patch
There's more,
notes.
but yeah, they haven't gone over everything.
Speaking
That's what
of
I meant
the patch
before.
notes,
Like this, for example, we have no idea what this means, but
expanded the passives available to the Templar section of the passive tree.
and like you could assume these might be aura. This is some minion stuff. So there's the normal one, and then there's some more. Or is that different? And then what's this? Like, yeah, it's pretty interesting. We don't know yet. And then this part.
And dominating blow.
What did they do to Dom Blow? Right? So many questions.
We're also doing our usual
Calculated risk. Your crit strike chances lucky damaging of enemies hitting you is unlucky. Damage with hits is unlucky.
improvement to some of the least played Ascendancy classes. This time with a focus on Guardian.
Isn't this already what
and
these were?
Warden. Speaking of Ascendancies,
And then the new Scion Ascendancy.
Academy. Collect passive powers come from the
So they only show like a few of the nodes. Armor from equipped, shield is doubled, 10% chance to block attack damage, gain no armor from equipped body armor.
these unique items
So
found
your
from
shield
throughout
armor
Ray
instead
class.
of chest armor. Non-instant Warcries ignore their cooldown when used. Warcries cost 15% of life.
After ascending, first select the power of a unique armor.
Victario's influence, 40% AoE of aura skills, plus 2 level of aura
Victario's
skills.
influence. Elemental resistance.
Kalova's Bluster, 40% chance for elemental resistance to count as being 90% against enemy hits.
Pin power.
You also got Widow Hail.
Martyr's teaching,
Mata's teaching, but only the crit part,
which causes your minions critical
not the extra skill gems.
projector.
And then
causes Nova
Astral
spells to
Projector. Nova at the target location should have around you, and they have AoE. Astromentus being plus 60 to all attributes. I was wondering, like, wait, wasn't this like 100? So I guess they took like the low end of it. Oh, and the key thing about that was those will also change every season. So if you don't like these now, they will change next time and it'll be different. And so don't expect these to stay the same either. So they could do some crazy broken stuff, or they could be underpowered, but they'll change. So don't get too attached to Reliquarian Ascendancy, the new Scion thing. They changed it so maps, you don't have maps, you just have tiers, and then you choose the map. And so I'll show you this part.
As an example, instead of having a Mesa map, you will now find, say, a Tier 10 map. To open a Mesa map now, just locate and select Mesa on your atlas, put in your map item, click activate, and you're good to go.
This is the best part. Ready?
That mesa may drop a tier 11 map.
Not this part.
You can then
this one,
immediately return to your map device, which will default to the last map run, and then run it again.
The defaults.
Or choose a
Let's
new
go.
map to use.
And then wait, look at the map mods.
And then run
Yeah, okay.
it again. Or choose a new map to use it on.
Ooh,
it's
that was
your
easy.
choice.
This is our current atlas, and now watch what they did.
And after.
What the heck? And then so these apparently are separated. It's fractured. And so there's regions. This is one. This is one. So each corner is its separate region. It reminds me of a previous league, but not that divided. It was like 8 separate regions, and we had the watchstones, and you could roll the watchstones, and there was the unique ones. This isn't quite that, but it's similar. Oh, they also put all the unique maps on the atlas, and they said this.
Need to complete Hall of Grandmasters every league. You now gain 1 Atlas skill point per unique map completed, up to a maximum of 10.
And there's 20.
Given there are...
Oh, they also pointed out that there's 138 Atlas points now, but you get them from different things. It's not only from completing maps. It's like unique maps, nightmare maps, Maven invitations, Pinnacle, Eldritch, bosses, and then you actually get more, like 8 or 9 more, they said. But then, yeah, they're not all from the same way we were getting them before. New Astrolabes, they called these blobs. You could add a region to your map atlas, and then in a region, and then it's like a blob, and it's like influence, but of Egan. It's this new, like the memories, but this way, and then it buffs them up, and you do them, and then the ones you don't do get buffed up even more, and so then you do the maps you don't want, and then you buff up the other ones even more. So like, this is apparently going to be like the most juiced method, but then Astrolabes will cost stuff, so it's a choice and it's not free. And then they're showing all the different mechanics you could do, but then they also mentioned if you like cut the blob in half,
You go discover Travails.
Like, I'll show you. So let's say you did these 2 maps, and this blob would be separated into 2 packs. One of them will disappear, and you'll lose all that extra buffing, because you see these extra modifiers at the top. They gain more as you do some of them, so you do your worst maps first, then you have one super juiced map, right? That's the idea here. And so if you cut it off in half, you would lose half the maps, and you don't get automatically all the extra juice on the ones you didn't do yet. So you actually want to do them like one at a time, and not ruin the blob. But then, yeah, you'd also want to have it finish on a map you actually like. And then they also said you can't put this on the nightmare maps, which is T17s. So this is like to try to contend they want this to be the most juice content and not the nightmare maps anymore. And then obviously you would do one that you actually like the mechanic. But then there's also the cutting it in half to destroy the blob to end it sooner, because at the end of it you get a special encounter with a boss or something, and so maybe you could speed that up by doing less maps by cutting the blob in half. Yeah. And then they show here one of the super juice ones, so just 1 remaining. Increased divination cards found, blight chests to contain an additional reward, 30% more currency, 30% more scarabs. Blight chests in your maps have a 15% chance to be openable again. Your map contains a blight encounter, 5% increased pack size in your maps. This is the super juice, apparently. You be the judge of that. And then, yeah, at the end, when you do the Astrolabe thing, you get a vault, and then I think it's to fight a boss. And then you also get forbidden reliquaries of super loot, and you get to choose your loot like the end of a heist. It reminds me of a blueprint. So they show this one, Archon's Vault for the Void Battery, uniques. You get uniques from this one. They also showed this one.
The Zealot's Vault.
Zealots for currency to get Divine Orb, some rich. This was the most interesting part about that. Completing a map objective within a shaped region instead collapses a different map within the shaped region. So if you liked one map of that blob, you could actually just keep doing that one map and never actually do the other ones. Because I was saying how you'd want to do your less favorite ones first and to get it on the one you actually like. Well, you could actually just run the one you like over and over and over. So it says memories are the stuff of which dreams are made. Synthesize stability. This part's really sick. This is probably the best part about that. Because then you really can just run the one map you like the most over and over and over, and you don't have to keep running maps you don't like. So that's a lot better than the old memory system. By default, when you complete an objective in a map within a shaped region, it collapses, removing itself from the region. This causes all the other maps in the region to gain Atlas additional modifiers. In cases where the shaped region would become bisected, only the region with the most connected maps will remain. So actually, it's not random. It's the one with the most remaining. So when you cut it in half, the bigger one stays unless they're equal. I guess it's random then. Oh, they also showed this part. It's like the divination card change, where they made it so the div cards, when you put it in, will automatically complete into the item without having to click the confirm, and then when you put in the new div cards, it automatically pulls the item that was in there out. It makes swapping stuff easy. They also showed it with maps. You put a map in,
right-click unique maps,
and then when you put the next one,
inventory,
it automatically puts it in and puts the other one back in your inventory. But then they also showed this part, which they didn't even really highlight, except for just going over it this quickly. Watch. At Ziri's back.
to automatically open your atlas to that location with the map already placed and ready to run. When you select a special area that requires multiple items, such as to fight at Ziri or open the Domain of Timeless Conflict, if you have the fragments to access
Ziri's
that in
back,
your inventory,
and this is all they
it
showed.
will automatically add them to the map device in the right spot.
Holy. Some endgame quality of life, and don't worry, it's not nerfs.
We've removed cartographer's chisels and map device crafts entirely. The loss of content and loot here has been compensated for in other places.
So apparently map item quantity bonus of 25%, it's actually higher than the chisels. And then you can still stack like Maven Uber chisels on top of this, so you get extra, but you have to do your Atlas passive skill points. So this reminds me of the Awakening bonus objective thing, but which was from doing like the corrupted version of the red maps or something. Or maybe it was just the bonuses on maps in general, which was for magic. It's doing the, I mean, for white tier 1 to 5, it was magic maps. And then for 6 to 11, it was rare maps. And then for the 11 to 16, it was the corrupted. And so maybe it was all of them, but either way, it was based on your Awakening objective bonus completion. So here it says for every 4 bonus objectives, 1 item quantity. So you actually get more when you do all of them. They also showed this. So regions have different stuff, but maybe it's based on the voidstone you put in it. And because my first assumption was that the voidstones will go to a certain area and you can't decide, but maybe you can decide which one you put in each area. And so if you like the mods on one specifically more than the other, you could do that. Because I saw this one in the reveal page and I was like, wait, are they all that? It appears not. So Decayed being Shaper or Elder influence, which by the way, this didn't even work on T17s very well, so then this is funny. But then it also had maps of 1 to 15 dropped as converted currency to gold, sorry, not currency. And so then I was thinking, wait, this is like my favored maps with the singular focus, but instead of currency, it's gold. And then it's about trying to get T16s, and then they won't be converted. So they agree about like converting lesser tier maps to gold, but mine was currency. And then they also this would help you get the nightmare maps, but then this one has Eldritch Altars have a 25% chance to have an additional upside and downside from the other Eldritch influence type, which is pretty weird, to be honest. What the fuck is that? Why more downside? How is this good? Oh no, dude. And from the other one, that's super whack. They remove these 2 mods, reduce action speed for each skill you've used recently, and dealing no damage for 3 of 10 seconds from the Originator and Nightmare maps. They removed pedals from the memory maps, Originator maps, and they also did this.
Their effects are now available from the altars and memory threads.
You get the mods on the altars. Instead of doing the chain, you could just find altars in the maps or something. But I don't really know how threads work.
Instead of adding a memory thread to your atlas, will now drop an itemized version of that thread, allowing you to save it for later or trade it.
Wait, so we actually still have the memory threads, but then we have this new Egan system with the Astrolabes. What the heck? This is so weird, dude. You have multiple of the same thing. What is going on? Guys, look at this exceptional rogue exile. Ready?
It's a true antagonist level rogue exile threat in your map. Empowered by every type of wildwood wisp, possessed by a tormented spirit,
How many
augmented with
wisps?
rare monster modifiers, and affected by a shrine, this exile is not to be trifled with.
You can also
Such
have
as the
3
Beyond Scarab of
bosses at the
Resurgence.
same time.
Which now causes all 3 Beyond bosses to appear when a Beyond boss would spawn in your map. Such as Pillage and Plunder, which now grants a chance for items dropped by Syndicate members to have a fractured veiled mod.
5%.
Check out the new The Paths Not Taken keystone, which means your maps on average will drop twice as many divination cards.
But they're from
But
random
which
to
ones
other
can drop
maps.
will be a mystery. And last, but not least, we've also made some changes to Kingsmarch shipping.
This
such
is so
as
weird.
We've swapped the rewards given by sending ore
So this was an ore shipment. Ready, the rewards?
and crops.
They got currency, 2 mirror shards. You're rich. 8 divine orbs, 2 sacred orbs, 7 annuls, 10 X. This was ore.
I wonder what this new port will send back.
They added Moti Aro, new port.
Ports will now give more rewards
You can also see they have re-roll cost, 15,000 gold. You can re-roll them. He had 9 million gold.
for favored resources. And you can even re-roll them for gold, if they're not offering what you're after. Specific ports will now reward specific tattoos and rune grafts, making it easier to target the ones you want. Not to mention, the Kalgurans have discovered several new powerful rune grafts for you to get your hands on, such as the Rune Graft of Fury, which causes you to gain rage on using a life flask, and the Rune Graft of Resurgence, which causes Arcane Surge to also grant life regeneration,
Wait.
which causes you to get your hands on, such as the Rune Graft of Fury.
Oh, he did call it Fury. Oh, they showed the other one. Originator. Bosses within the Atlas can drop Astrolabes and exceptional support gems. Oh, that's how you get the Astrolabes. And so this is not till, like, Endgame with the Void Stones. And that's just one of the Void Stones. And so then I'm wondering if this is only that specific region and you don't get to choose which region you put this in. But I'm hoping that you get to choose. That would be really cool. Unless it's just in a region with good maps, and then I don't care. It's the same thing, because I'll just be playing those maps. But that would be better that you could put it wherever you want, because what if your map's not in the region that you want to farm with the right Voidstone, if you don't like some of the other mods? So then they show here Awakened Spell Cascade, but then we have the Greater Spell Cascade. So this is the exceptional one. You have the less AoE, less damage, but then it has supported area of effect skills also affect areas in front of, behind, and on each side of the targeted area. So this is just a better version of the level 5 Awakened Spell Cascade in every way. It's exactly the same though, from what I thought they were saying that they would have like different unique effects, but this seems to be the same effect, just better.
But
Some of them are transformative, so this is greater, so it has repeat 3, more melee attack speed, less attack damage, and the more damage for repeats, which is the same as Awakened Multi. I'm pretty sure that I don't see how this is transformative beyond what we already had of Awakened Multi, for example. Cooldown recovery support, 40% increased CDR, exceptional support. Cannot modify skills of minions. They talked about keepers, and they show some nodes on the tree, so then I can read them if they didn't read them.
their walls are now smaller. To allow players to engage with Hive encounters quicker when they do want to help Aelith, we've added a new Atlas passive which drastically increases the detonation area of unstable burrows, causing them to reliably chain react and destroy the majority of remaining walls. For those who don't want to deal with the walls at all, there's now a pair of keystones that allow you to block Hive encounters or unstable breaches, if you want.
He went over them.
Now that this is a core league start, so now Each womb gift slot is already usable by default, and access to the Monastery of the Keepers will be gained by finding Aelith starting in Act 6 Mudflats. Now with Atlas Tree and Scarab support, you can have multiple unstable breach encounters active in a single area
God damn.
for maximum ruckus.
Who unstable?
Speaking of
And
Atlas
they can
Tree and
start at the
Scarab
same
support,
time.
we've added plenty. Here are a few examples. The Massing Forces Atlas notable grants a chance to have additional unstable breaches in your maps. The Breach Scarab of the Marshal guarantees a breach boss or hive fortress, while the Breach Scarab of the Incensed Swarm replaces all of Aelith's skills with Enrage the Hive, increasing the difficulty and reward from hive monsters in all subsequent waves. Graft items will no longer exist, but we've moved several of the graft skills to new exceptional supports,
Oh.
such as the Hiveborn support, which summons an army of breach minions to do your bidding when you use a supported offering skill. And the Foul Grasp support, which calls forth a field of
You can favorite currency or items in the currency exchange now to make faster trading, and especially when you're repeating the same ones all the time. And you can open your stash from the currency exchange, so you don't have to stack them on top of each other to do this feature. This is already a thing, but it's easier now. It reminds me more of like Harvest. This thing, it was crazy.
be handed in to become the resultant item. If you then turn in another set
This is
immediately,
crazy
the reward
technology.
from the previous set will be transferred to your inventory directly,
They made opening
assuming
div
there's
cards
enough
so
free
much
space
better.
to do so. Labyrinth font crafts that previously gave a random transfigured gem now allow you to choose which transfigured gem of that type you'd like to receive.
Better odds. It's pretty
The
good.
asynchronous trade item sale history is now hoverable, with
So
full
much
item
quality of life.
descriptions of the sold item.
You can show off what
When
you
using
sold.
Divine Orbs, you can now tell exactly which modifiers can be
Whoa.
randomized.
They already showed these, but just in case you haven't seen them.
The ritual icon will now glow if you've got
This is
surrounded by
pretty cool.
enemies and find it extremely difficult to click. Well, shrines now take priority over monsters when clicking in an area they overlap.
That's so good. Because you always have
Since 3.24, we've been
name
looking
locked.
to add new ways,
the
some pretty
campaign
useful
got
stuff.
some new stuff.
so keep an eye out for the new and unexpected rooms, side passages, chests, and encounters as you progress throughout Rayclast. We want most of these to be a surprise, but we'll show you just one. There is now a small central island in the Karui Fortress, all inhabitants of which will drop a basic tattoo when slain.
Devalued.
Next up,
So from what I could tell, there was a bunch of stuff missing. Like there's one of the Voidstones missing. There's a bunch of the gems missing. There's so much content missing, so much stuff to explore and find and discover. So yeah, you can't really fully analyze everything. You can kind of just go over what we have seen. And then I noticed some special teasers in there that they didn't really focus on, but they put extra info in where you could, if you noticed, then you would know. But yeah, some of it I missed initially, and I saw only when doing this. And then I'm sure I still missed more, and they already teased a bunch of extra stuff. And then they even said they'll be teasing some of the extra stuff throughout the week before March 6th. And so I'll try to cover any more teasers that we see too. And then I thought that ending with this, recapping. So we saw empowered rewards, new skill and support gems, but I don't think we saw all of them. We didn't see all the new uniques. We saw the fractured atlas. We know what that is. We know about the shaped regions. We know about the new void stones. We know about memory vaults. We know about the exceptional supports, but we don't know all over 40. And so when they say over 40, they may be making even more as the time goes on between here and when it actually comes out. So there could be more than 50 or whatever. Like, we don't know what that means fully, but at least 40 is what we would say. And we didn't see 40. They showed us a bunch of them, but they didn't show what their effects are. And then they're supposed to be more powerful than Awakened or change them drastically. What the support gems are, like, have an extra effect. We have the new Ascendancy class for the Scion, but we didn't see all of the nodes. We have Keepers, we saw most of that, but we didn't see all the nodes on the tree or all the Scarabs. We only saw like 2 of each. and then we saw a lot of the quality of life, but there could be more that they just didn't show. And so that's where I say, like, yeah, you can't fully judge it, but it looks really cool for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my financial supporters on Patreon and YouTube members. Thank you for the Patreon members David, Hannah, Sinek, and YouTube members Space Nox, Salad, X Hate, and Led Rain. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!